SC Ventures is a venture building unit. Predominantly we have 35 ventures which we have built from scratch from the very beginning, and we take them all along the journey. And in the same time, when we find partners that we work with, be it technological capabilities of partners we set up new companies with, we might deploy capital, in which case we would invest at a slightly later stage, as in Series B and beyond. So it's a combination of 35 ventures from scratch and some other 20 portfolio companies at a bit of a later stage as well.
How many of these ventures and how much of that capital is deployed here in the region?
The venture building started here with two little ventures. Not so about a year ago, we had two endemic ventures, Apro and Myzoy. As of today, we have 7 different businesses, and they're ventures that we are building here in the region, but also ventures that we have incubated elsewhere and are rolling out to the region. Be it, Zodia Custody, Zodia Markets being licensed in the UAE, or a number of other ventures. For example, we announced a joint venture with a subsidiary of Old Mutual in the wealth as a service space, which will incorporate in the IFC serving the East African continent as well as the Middle East overall. All of these were business models which we have created and rolling out in this part of the world.
So, Mr. Alex, do you facilitate venture debt in SC Ventures?
Not at the moment. It's high on my mind because I think there's a gap for venture debt. In fact, if I were to reflect on funding for startups, it's one thing to find seed capital, it's another thing to find growth stage capital. But the thing in between, which is when a startup is scaling, is often a gap in the market, and venture debt is also a gap in most markets. We don't do it at the moment, but we're thinking about it. That's what I'd say.
You mentioned in the panel earlier that there is a lot of growth funding ventures that are actually moving to early stage funding. Can you elaborate more about this? And is this a global phenomena, or it's specifically here in the region?
So what I think I can back up with numbers and facts is private equity going to venture. So in other words, growth stage going to earlier stage, because it gives them a on the pipeline, line of sight on the pipeline, and an ability to control a little bit better what's going to come to them. What I think is a more nascent phenomenon, but one that I can see developing is venture capital moving to build stage. Because obviously, when you build, the founders, you've thought through the first few pivots of the business, you understand the technology, you understand the use case, you understand what happens when it goes wrong. And the type of information we have when we build is very different from one of a financial investor looking at a company for the first time at Series B or C stage, where it's already relatively formed and you have to sort of due diligence, but there's only so much thorough understanding you have of the business.
Can you reveal the capital actually invested or deployed in SC Ventures?
So we don't publish the SC Ventures perimeter per se, but I will tell you over the last 5-6 years, Standard Chartered has deployed about $1.5 billion across various digital ventures, some of which are digital banks, some of which are investments held by the bank, and obviously the ventures and the minority investments which we've made. We do not have a cap because we're not a fund, right? In the sense we have some funds, but the venture platform itself is a you can think of it as an evergreen capital, which is funded over time and relies on the funding of the ventures and monetizing existing investments to continue to replenish. So yes, we do have dry powder. Yes, we're open for business, and yes, we're going to build more and more ventures in the UAE and the region, generally speaking.